Ask Reddit, what are things that people are ashamed of, but shouldn't be ashamed of? Not being good at something that they just started to learn. I'm like that. Trying to learn the harmonica, and I'm too embarrassed to practice when anyone else is around, really daft. Exercising around other people. It's easy to feel ashamed of your own weight, strength, etc. when exercising around others that already have the body image you're striving for. I always tell people it's not a competition. You're exercising for yourself. Your only competition is you from yesterday. Duck that yesterday guy. Admit that they failed. Everyone has failed in their life at least once. Nobody is perfect, and you don't need to be ashamed of, it's human. The problem is that I can't stop. Edit, Jesus, you're really awesome tried mother duckers, aren't you? Learning from your mistakes only keeps you from making the same mistake twice, but there's so many ways to fail that, in my experience, it's effectively worthless. Most people try all their lives for anything, but we only have a window of a few decades to achieve it. Don't make it in time. Too freaking bad. Failure is not needed to learn, and it never was. I don't know where this hot happy horse shit came from, but it's just plain not true, and it never was. But you tried means absolutely nothing. I don't know a single human being who never tried anything. Failure just means that you failed. End of story. An F on a report card does not mean you learned, it means you ducked up. If this garbage is really the best advice you can give, I'm probably quitting Reddit because my god, you're awesome happy dumb mother duckers. Their laugh. It's so sad when someone hates their own laugh. Show me the real you. I said the real you. Perfection. Not knowing something. People shouldn't shame others for their lack of knowledge. Absolutely no one knows everything. Looking at you, Reddit. For real. You can post a thesis level essay on a topic you know everything about, but you mess up 1 minute detail and it's 50 people telling you you're an idiot. Working low wage jobs. No one should feel bad for what they do, we all just trying to get by. Thank you for this. Yesterday someone talked down to me about how much I make. I was bummed about it all day. I'm sorry you had to go through that, duck them. Receiving help from others. We are, many of us, generous and always ready to help. But we have a hard time being on the receiving end. My family made me feel horrible when asking for help growing up. They'd literally call me a dumbass, stupid, asking dumb questions, how about you pay attention in class, attention seeking, and just straight up insult me for even thinking I needed help. Sometimes they wouldn't even answer me verbally, they'd just roll their eyes or sigh or shake their heads and ignore me. I literally was treated like an idiot for asking questions and asking for help. And I was a child. I'm 23 now and still struggle with asking questions or for help when I need it. It's yet another cycle I'm going to break, hurting children simply for being curious children and asking for help or asking questions. There's no reason why they had to hurt me simply for asking for help with my math homework. The only excuse I can come up with is their pride not allowing them to say they can't help me because they didn't understand it themselves. I read about this in another r/AskReddit post, but apparently people who are choking on food don't like to admit this. For example, in a restaurant, when a person notices they are choking on the food, they just go to the bathroom and try to survive on their own, and actually quite many people die because of this. When I was with my friends celebrating the one's birthday, I choked at a pizza place and her mom had to give me the Heimlich, and it caused me to vomit on the table. I ran to the bathroom and cried in there for 30 minutes until my friends came in to check up on me. Wearing hand-me-down clothes that don't fit quite right because they can't afford anything new. I only have a few t-shirts for going out, and my friends notice I'm always wearing the same thing. Same. I'm a woman and the whole buy a new outfit for going out thing got old fast. I like this shirt, and I'm going to get my money's worth. Using the bathroom at someone's house or a public place. It shouldn't be embarrassing at all, just do what you need to do. I've seen people make themselves miserable just to avoid using the bathroom. I was never embarrassed to go to the bathroom at someone's house until sometime in junior high I had to go at a friend's house and dropped a deuce. Didn't think anything of it. I had a big family and nobody ever cared if you left the bathroom stinky because it's just a fact of life, especially if 8 people are sharing the same bathroom in one house. Well, a few minutes later, her mom walks into the bathroom and makes a huge deal about how stinky it was in there and how you should spray perfume as a courtesy and yada yada. I'm sure she thought it was one of her kids and didn't mean to be malicious, but yeah. I've never pooped at someone's house again, unless I can confirm they have air freshener and the bathroom is far away from where people are congregated. Admitting to be wrong. I'm teaching my kids that owning up to mistakes and saying you're sorry is what makes you a grown up. This also shows them that some old people never grew up. I therefore also always tell them when I was wrong and apologize to them when that happens. Sorry I accused you of making a mess outside. I just found out it was the kid next door. I was wrong, and I feel bad about it. This is invaluable. It's also important for kids to understand the situation and apologize when they are ready. My parents always made me say sorry for things long before I really felt sorry or before I knew why I ought to feel that way. It didn't scar me or anything, but it sure made me resent them when I felt like I wasn't in charge of my own feelings. Liking absolutely anything that they like. Flowers, wrestling, kung fu movies, cooking, collecting toilet seats, avocado toast, Bud Light, Michael Bay movies, crying, handlebar mustaches, hairy men, floppy boobs, podcasts, fried chicken, exercise, heavy metal, scallions, The Irishman. Just like what you like and own it. Thank the Lord. My hobbies include flower wrestling, kung fu cooking, collecting avocado toast, hairy boobs, floppy men, fried Bud Light, listening to podcasts while crying, heavy scallions, The Irishman, kidding, hairy boobs, floppy men, you're gonna love me. Blemishes and pimples that no one notices but themselves until you get that one butthole that asked what happened to your face, like he doesn't already know. I always work from the if it can't be changed in 5 seconds, don't point it out. Sure, if you've got chocolate on your face I'll discreetly mention it to you, but I'm sure you already know you have a pimple. What good would making you self-conscious do? Walking into a store and not buying anything. It's because I feel like people there think I'm stealing something. I look young for my age, and I don't dress exceptionally well or wear makeup, so I feel like people see me and think delinquent thief if I don't buy anything. I used to use this for my advantage. I would always get my trench coat when going to buy something that I would need help with. Bam. Instant customer service at Best Buy. Being a certain age and not being married, having a degree, or anything that people have associated with a certain age. Definitely. I just turned 35, I'm single, no kids and just completed my first diploma which I combined with a certificate and did in less than a year. I tried to do tertiary education after leaving high school, but it was all geared towards getting a good job and didn't interest me at the time. As an adult with some experience behind me, I'm appreciating my study more now, since some of it has direct correlation to work I've done, while setting me up to switch career tracks, and some of it is simply for the pleasure of learning. When I was younger I wouldn't have been able to afford to study something that had no guarantee of a job prospect, while putting me into massive debt, just for the pleasure of studying something that interested me. Now in the golden age of internet availability, I can study it at a much cheaper price and all without leaving the house. A disability. I'm epileptic. I've got no personal issues with it except for the obvious. People seem to act differently when hearing it though, and that can suck. I had broke a molar one time a few years back and couldn't find a dentist willing to do the work to fix it as I had 5 or 6 seizures one day supposedly caused by dental work years ago. It took nearly 2 years of living with a broken molar and a bit of a breakdown to the receptionist for anything to happen. Bosses and co-workers seem to act differently too, but usually with the intent to come of more caring etc. Usually makes things awkward. A kid in my daughter's class has epilepsy. The first time his mom dropped him off at our house for a birthday party, she gave us almost a disclaimer about his epilepsy and told us he hadn't had a seizure in a long time. She also said some parents feel uncomfortable having him at their houses because of his epilepsy. I felt bad that a kid has possibly not been included in fun events with his friends in the past because of something completely out of his control. When students who generally care about their education fail a class. I know it's tough and it makes you feel worthless. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes things just happen the way they do. It doesn't mean you are dumb or are unable to succeed. Say to those students, I want to be as smart as a donkey. Donkeys learn from their mistakes, but are not afraid of making mistakes. Some classes also seriously seem to set people up for failure. Requiring a lot of information, little or no teacher assistance, and god do I hate classes requiring group work that's huge on your grade. Being a virgin. I'm surprised this wasn't higher. It's crazy how there's a stigma against people who have intercourse, and there's a stigma against people who don't have intercourse. What do you want, people? And there isn't a definable time to lose your virginity. Everyone moves at their own pace. The best time is to lose it when you feel the most comfortable. It's not something you should rush into, in my opinion. I 100% believe that women have it the worst. If a guy sleeps with a ton of people, he's a player. If a girl sleeps with a ton of people, she's shamed for being a slut. It almost feels like women who seek out intercourse are automatically labeled as such. The hypocrisy is maddening. I remember in high school talking to some friends and someone said, if I lost my virginity, I would tell all of you guys. But then another responded, but think of the girl. She never comes out looking good. And there's so much truth to that. Completely unfair. Not being happy 24/7. Being a recovering or ex-addict. Great answer. Beating addiction is a huge thing that not many people can do. There it is. I was waiting for this one to pop up. I have been sober for many years now, and I still remember the intense shame and embarrassment I felt walking into rehab. It was okay for everyone to see me acting like an butthole and almost dying of an overdose, but God forbid anyone see me get sober. The stigma around addiction is disgusting and needs to stop. No one should be ashamed of having an addiction, and no one for damn sure needs to be ashamed of kicking their habit. Mental illness. Came to say this. So sad that people even hide when they are getting help. Judged by family members for medications and therapy because strong people don't get depressed. I think this is a really important one. When talking about depression, a friend of mine said if someone opened up to him about being depressed, he'd hit him on the arm and just say, what do you have to be depressed about? You live in a very wealthy and developed country with no worries. Why would you be depressed? Kind of made me think again about talking to people, and it makes life harder. Having hair somewhere, or not having hair somewhere, agreed and thank you. Especially as some types, like back hair, are grounds for mockery, even if you get them taken care of. The number of girls who have been like, ooh, you wax your back, to me is astounding. What did you want me to do, bitch? Let it grow out? So you wouldn't mock me for that? But at the end of the day, joke is on those hoes. I'm gay and I'm a hit at Bear Week. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like, get subscribed, and tell us some things that you are ashamed of but shouldn't be in the comment section, and support the original writers with upvotes, links in the description box.